Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this press conference. Our speaker today is Ms. Cecilia Bailliet, the independent expert on international solidarity. She will brief you today on her latest report to the Human Rights Council. We will begin with opening remarks from the independent expert before moving to questions. Ms. Bailliet, you have the floor.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. I am so pleased to have reported that I've presented my report on international solidarity in relation to Indigenous peoples. And this issue is very timely because we see a militarization of many territories where Indigenous people live. This includes the Arctic, but also down to the Amazon. We're seeking recognition of the right of participation of Indigenous people in processes that would seek to preserve peaceful dispute resolution, to counter the threat of use of force within their territories, of use of violence and destruction of the environment. Indigenous peoples have solidarity perspectives on the relation of their peoples to the environment, but also to other vulnerable groups such as minorities and refugees and migrants. The report highlights how Indigenous peoples seek to protect people who are seeking asylum, as well as underscore the role of Indigenous women in showing solidarity leadership. We are calling for an international solidarity global system in which Indigenous people from the north and the south and the east to the west will be given opportunities to exchange their knowledge and promote a worldview in accordance with protection of the environment. We also seek support for Indigenous education, so we welcome law schools around the world to open courses on Indigenous law, and for the UN to discuss the possibility of creating an Indigenous university where different Indigenous communities could come and share their knowledge for dissemination. I thank you for the opportunity to present this report.
Thank you. The independent expert will now take questions. Online, please raise your hand and state your name and organization before asking a question. We have a question from Efe.
Yes, thank you very much. We were promised that you would speak to about your trip to Denmark and Greenland, and now that Greenland is it's been in the news in the last months because of the U.S. Threats of annexation. So I wonder if you have any comments to do about Greenland. Thank you.
Do I repeat it? Okay, I'm sorry. I thank you for the question. I am happy to report that Greenland expressed its appreciation for the EU for its expression of support through the participation of the visit by France to Greenland, in which they recognize the right of Greenlandic people to have support for their self-determination. Self-determination is a key principle of international law, and the idea of international solidarity is that these principles will be protected. When I went to Greenland, I had many conversations with civil society groups that were very insistent on the importance of consultation of the Inuit people on any matters having to do with the use of their territory, and that includes for the presence of military actors. The prior independent expert who had been there had given recommendations to the state that there should be a cleanup of military waste that is in Greenland. And so therefore we're hoping that the authorities will follow up the prior mandate holder's recommendation on that cleanup, and that we ensure that the voices of Indigenous people in preserving the self-determination of Greenland is respected. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there? There's another question.
Hello, thank you. What do you make of the fact that a lot of the excuse me, a lot of the discussion around Greenland seems to be over the heads of Indigenous people, so without their involvement? Thank you.
I don't quite understand how you say it's over their heads. I think that Indigenous peoples are very aware of the role of military actors, be it the Danish authorities that are charged with protection of the area, but also the presence of the American military base. They are very aware of the presence of these actors, and they're also aware of the impact of having the military within these areas, given the vulnerability of the environment. So they themselves have been reporting their concerns, and I'm hoping that the government will pay heed to them.
Any follow-up questions? If there are no further questions, we will now close this press conference. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you.